one. Great.
Well, I originally wanted to, this was like in the late 70s when graffiti artists were bombing trains. First, you know, I just moved to New York and I was amazed at how cool that was. And it was dangerous and it was exciting, but it was also scary. So, you know, that was sort of the pop that I wanted to be boiling in. So they do these big, bright, huge, attention-getting, colorful tags with their names on it. So I wanted to do the smallest, most anonymous pieces. The whole trajectory of my 30 years of doing is I used to sit outside, take 2 or 3 hours and paint something. Cops would stop and they'd ask you, what are you doing? I'd say, oh, I'm painting a hummingbird. I'd show them one that I already painted and they'd be like, oh, cool, all right. You know, now it's an automatic felony. So I don't do it anymore because I don't want to go to jail. You know, the climate has changed so much in the city. I put a sticker up or I stick something up. Like there's one of my hoodie stickers right there. You know, it's just like boom and I'm out of here so the cops don't see me and I don't get arrested. I know people think I put those hoodie characters up to mark where they sell drugs, but it's true, that's where they were. This was in the Lower East Side, which was not a nice neighborhood. You would not want to go there unless you had to. I mean, that's where I used to live, was the big drug market neighborhood. But it was about a lot more than that. So it was drugs, it was crime, there was HIV. So people were dying, shooting up with used needles even though they knew it was killing them. It's just sort of a poetic gesture, that guy. There is an ominous tone to it, but there's more to it, I mean, to me, you know. And so I wouldn't define it too much. I wouldn't define any of them too much. Mostly what I'm influenced by is music. Moving here in the 70s, seeing like Patti Smith and the B-52s and there's the Ramones, who I love to death. So if you were in art school, chances are you were in a band back then. And I was in bands. I mean, I played in a lot of these, you know, kind of art rock type things. We would go on tour and go to like, you know, 20 cities in 10 days or whatever it was. But that was a formative experience. Punk rock, noise, you know, chaos. End of the world, no future by night, and then by day I'd be in these museums which were astonishingly quiet, just the old master museums because that's the kind of painting I like. So I really, you know, I was in Vienna and Berlin and Paris and London. I went to all the major museums and took them in. So something happened to me there, which is where how I came up with this kind of, you know, urban art thing that I do. Thinking about my paintings. Excuse me, Camille. What are you doing? When I was in all those punk bands, I went to all those museums in Europe and I studied and looked at and absorbed and downloaded to my permanent memory all these old master paintings. You know, the techniques of glazes and layers and sort of optical, luminous paintings. So all the paintings I do now, they look one way, but if you put a light on them, they light up. See that? You want to see it again? What happens at night is this reflects enough light to actually light up the room. I have this kind of, you know, wandering practice, and I drive a lot, and I have a motorcycle for the street art. It was very helpful, but, you know, I'm basically cruising around, you know, just thinking about what I'm doing next all the time, every day. I seem to do that. The nightscapes are all about my sort of wandering around the world. Driving out to New Jersey one day, saw this little office park, took a photograph of it, came home, made a painting of it, you know. Mysterious, weird corporate headquarters type place. The lamps, though, like wherever I go, I look for lamps. I look for a lamp I find compelling that I want to do a portrait of, because I think of them as portraits, the lamps. When I was a kid and I was in all those punk bands, it was all about darkness, you know. I was really looking for the darkness, and it just got too dark. I think the hoodie piece was the bottom of that, you know, where I just started coming out of the darkness, and then funny thing now, all I paint is light. Well, these are all friends of mine. This is combining my interest in painting light with portraits or people I know, which is what I used to paint. I love seeing this in nightclubs or bars when people are looking at their phones and they're illuminated. It seems like this kind of spiritual illumination, you know, their cell phone. So these are girls who were friends of mine, or some of them are girls I went out with. And I like the idea of me being the light in their face. The best portraits I find are ones that contain several expressions at once. Happy eyes, sad mouth, whatever. There's definitely a sort of ambivalence about these people, which makes them more realistic. There's a duration to them if they have more than one expression. In other words, the painting lives for a few more seconds in your brain. You know, you're in the world of the painting, which is what I like when I go to museums when paintings do that. The real inspiration came for these when I was looking at this Dutch genre painter, Terborch, Terborch, little paintings of people in rooms, and every one of them, the illumination for the people in the room comes from us, the people who are looking at them. So I wanted to have me be the illumination. So it's like she's looking to see who, oh, it's Dan. Fuck him. I would never be satisfied or happy. I mean, I'm just like congenitally restless by nature, which is, you know, it's not so fun being me, but it's actually been really good for my work because I don't do the same thing over and over again. When I was a kid, I would walk home instead of paying for the subway. So I spent like 3 or 4 hours a day just walking the streets in New York and loving them. I think the whole body of my work is just a huge romance with New York City. It's all about how much I love this city.